Richician!
Hey YouTube, Richician84 here, and I'm doing a video that was highly requested like a while ago, and here I am doing it. I'm counting down my top 16 love-hate cards. Now, if you don't know what I mean by love-hate, it means that I'm referring to cards that I like using myself, or don't mind using myself, but hate when they're used against me. So in other words, like, it's only fun when I use these cards, basically. Like, what's funny is that I'm not even joking. Anyway, it's self-explanatory, so let's begin. Starting off at number 16 with Soul Release. Seems kind of random, I know, and this would have been among my top 10 top hated spells, but I started using it in my Light Ray deck, but I only use it to banish 3 light monsters from my graveyard so I can summon Light Ray Sorcerer. Like, that's literally it. Like, I don't use it for anything else, like, unless I want to get rid of an annoying card in the opponent's graveyard that I don't want to deal with. But usually I only use it to set up a Light Ray Sorcerer. But yeah, it is really annoying if it's used against me to mess up my graveyard and banish cards that I don't want banished. Like, it's seriously just so infuriating when that happens. I mean, it hardly ever happens these days, but it's still something that's just infuriating when used against me. It's really all there is to it. At number 15, Super Polymerization, like my number 7 favourite spell in the game. Great at getting rid of monsters that I can't generally get rid of other ways, but yeah, it is really annoying when used against me, just fusing away my monsters for their fusion purposes. And it can't be changed to, yeah, it's pretty infuriating, but at least it's not like Book of Life or Invocation, where like my monster gets banished for their purpose of reviving a zombie or bringing out an invocation monster, an invoked monster rather. But yeah, I'll take Super Poly any day. I mean, yeah, that's really all there is to it. Number 14, Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. The Xyz that you either love or hate. For me, it's a mixture of both. Yeah, I really like using it myself, whether I'm playing Raid Raptors or I'm playing it in other decks just to summon off Waking the Dragon. In fact, it's arguably the best monster to summon off Waking the Dragon, but yeah, it is still infuriating when it's used against me, so yeah. From the point of view of players who hate this card, like, I feel your pain. Like, I understand how annoying it is being on the receiving end of this card. Like, I'm with you guys. Like, really I am. Yeah, it's tough to overcome considering it's a 3500 beta that can't be affected by anything. Meaning the only ways to counter it are like by either attacking over it with something with more than 3500 attack points, or kaijuing it away. But It doesn't come up too often though, getting stuck behind this card. I mean, it's not really a problem for my signature 3 decks, because in my hero decks I have powerful fusions that can easily overcome it, whereas if I'm playing Dark Magician I can just use Piercing the Darkness and Apprentice Illusion Magician to overcome it, no problem. But, although lowering attack points really doesn't help things. Yeah, still pretty annoying when used against me, not gonna lie. Number 13 is number 101, Silent Omarok, one of the best rank 4 monsters in the game, like even today. So yeah, it is a brilliant card, great at dealing with special summoned attack position monsters, you know, provided of course they're not immune from being targeted, that is. But yeah, it is infuriating when it's used against me, just getting rid of any of my best monsters, like especially Elemental Heroes Absolute Zero and the Shining, because if either of those monsters are attached to this card, I basically get denied their second effects, which is just destroying the opponent's monsters or adding back 2 banished Elemental Heroes. Yeah, it's annoying, and I hate being denied those effects. Yeah, that's mainly why I hate it. Yeah, it's annoying when used on other monsters, but it's easy to work around, and like, to be fair, there's more ways to counter it now than there were like back in 2014 and 15. Number 12 is my favourite Xyz monster, Utopia the Lightning. Brilliant monster to go into to just overcome big threats that I can't deal with any other way, like Ultimate Falcon for instance, and just attacking with safety so I don't have to worry about battle traps or like whatever. But yeah, it is so annoying when it's used against me though, just to do the same thing to me and mess me up. Like Magician Girls for instance just auto lose to this card because they can't activate their battle phase effects, which is just so annoying to say the least. Like, and it's just even worse if there's like 4 materials under it, because the opponent makes Utopia normally with 2 level 4s, then goes into Prime or Utopia Ray, and then makes Lightning, so it can do the effect of boost its attack to 5,000 twice, which is pretty annoying and makes it quite hard to overcome. It can still be overcome outside of the battle phase, mind you, but otherwise, yeah, it's just infuriating being on the receiving end of it. Number 11 is Harpys Feather Duster. Now, I don't actually have it myself in a deck right now. I mean, I could if I wanted to. I mean, I would like to be able to use this in my Dark Magician, Elemental Hero and Rainbow Neos decks, and I would, but I don't have the room right now. I haven't yet figured out what I'd drop for Harpys Feather Duster, because it is like the best form of back row removal in the game right now. I will admit that. But yeah, it's just really fucking annoying when it's used against me, and even to this day I wish it stayed banned and wish it would be re-banned, because like this is one of the most degenerate spells in the entire game, just only wiping out the opponent's back row and has no cost and no drawback. Like, I don't know what Konami were thinking bringing it back. Like, I don't care what anyone says, like, it should have stayed banned, like, forever. Or if they did want to bring it back, they could have at least errated it to make it say, activate only while you control Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady's sisters. Like, that would have been perfectly fine, considering it's a Harpy card and it can be searched off Harpy's Featherstorm. It's just so annoying when people use it against me and wipe out my back row, like, especially if I'm playing Dark Magician. Like, Dark Magician just practically auto loses to mass back row removal, especially this card, or if not this, it'll be Lightning Storm or Twin Twisters. And it just pisses me off, like, as a Dark Magician fan. Like, if my back row keeps getting wiped, then I can't play. Like, and don't say, oh, just summon Dark Magician the Dragon Knight and you'll be fine. Like, I can't get it out that consistently, especially not turn 1, right? Yes, we have Timaeus the United Dragon to easily get it out, but I'm not going to see it, or Illusion of Chaos, which can search it out every single time. And yeah, like I said, like, if my back row keeps getting wiped out, then it's difficult for me to play, or at least make a comeback. And yeah, I just really wish this never came back, and wish it would just get re-banned. That's all there is to say, and you know, that is my opinion at the end of the day. Number 10 is Drowning Mirror Force, one of my favourite traps. It's a great card for just getting rid of opponent's attack position monsters and spinning them back to the deck, which is particularly great to use against monsters that have targeting and destruction immunity. And then it's like, hey, that's a nice monster you've got right there with targeting and destruction immunity. Would be a shame if something happened to it. But yeah, it is very, very annoying when used against me. I just lose my monsters just like that, and they're back in the deck, and I'm like, oh, I've got no monsters to defend myself. What the hell? Of course, the deck is less accessible than the graveyard. Yeah, it's just infuriating, and I'm just put back to square one, basically. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Number 9, Dark Magical Circle. Yeah, a card that I commonly play is also one that I absolutely hate when it's used against me. Like, now, it is arguably the best spell in the main deck of Dark Magician decks. Great at getting rid of monsters with destruction immunity. I like using it to get rid of back row. And of course it's very handy for getting rid of monsters that I can't get rid of any other way. But yeah, it is very annoying when it's used against me, whether I'm playing a mirror match or just using any of my other decks against the Dark Magician deck. yeah, just having my monster banished at almost any time, pretty much. Well, not monsters, just cards in general. So yeah, I feel the pain of players who I use this on. So yeah, I can understand the problem, and it is arguably the problem card in the main deck. I mean, yeah, it is easy to counter, but yeah, I can understand that the banish effect is really annoying, and like I said, it is annoying in the mirror match, because either we're just banishing each other's cards with circle, or getting rid of each other's back row with dark magic attack. But generally in the mirror match, I usually go after the circle itself rather than take advantage of the weakness of Eternal Soul and just get rid of that, just to get rid of the opposing monsters. I mean, yes, going for Eternal Soul is generally the smart play, and it, like I said, it does get rid of their monsters, but sometimes it's better to go after Dark Magical Circle, because then you can just stop them banishing your cards, and then you can worry about Eternal Soul afterwards. I mean, it really does depend on the situation and like the type of field that you're up against and what cards you have on hand. But getting rid of Circle is just preferable for me anyway, because like, I enjoy Dark Magician mirror matches, like, unless the opponent's using Dragoon. You know, I like me and the opposing Dark Magician player to have a fair and equal chance of winning, and it just keeps things interesting. At least that's what I find anyway. Number 8 is Effect Baylor. Yeah, one of my top 6 favourite hand traps, but at the same time, it's really fucking annoying when used against me, especially if it's used on like either Skilled Dark Magician or Elemental Hero Stratos. I've lost count of how many times I've tried to use Stratos' effect only to have it met by Effect Baylor, and it's like, for fuck's sake, I want to do my search, I want to play the game. It's just an annoying setback, like when playing heroes, it just ruins comeback plays or just stops me from being able to go off. And like I said, it's also really annoying when used on Skilled Dark Magician, especially when I get Skilled Dark up to 3 spell counters, only for the opponent to decide to be a dick and just drop the Baylor on Skilled Dark before I have a chance to use his effect. It's like, come on! Like, I hate being denied access to my favourite card. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Like, it stops me from being able to make plays, and it just ruins comeback plays. That's really all there is to it, to be honest. Number 7, Gekki, like one of the best spells in the game, and yeah, it's great for clearing out opponents' monsters, like especially if I can't get rid of them any other way, just clearing the field, stopping them swarming so I can make a comeback. But yeah, I really hate it when this is used against me. Like, Like, especially when Express Gaming uses it. Like, I swear to God, every time we play, he always top decks this card and just wipes out my monsters just like that. Like, I'm like, why? Why do you always have Gekki? Alright, yeah, I top deck this card a lot as well, but believe it or not, I don't top deck it as much as Express Gaming does. It's like the heart of the cards is more on his side than it is mine. And it's like, come on, why can't I have his luck? It's just absolute bullshit. And then I just lose my monsters and just end up losing the duel, or I just struggle to make a comeback. Okay, that was annoying. I swear my battery wasn't that low. But yeah, that is Gekki in a nutshell. Number 6, Mirror Force. My second favourite trap in the game, and it's also one that I really fucking hate when it's used against me. Like, especially when, again, Express Gaming and George use it. Like, I swear to God, pretty much every time I duel against them, they always seem to have this card, and then I just lose my monsters. Like, it's so fucking annoying. Like, especially when I don't even have a follow-up play, and it just screws me over. I mean, yeah, sometimes I can make a comeback, but sometimes I just can't and just lose control of the duel. But there are times where I am wary of it, though. Like, sometimes, like, I won't attack at all, like, if I suspect that either of them have it, and I don't have a follow-up play. So sometimes I will play it safe, but otherwise, yeah, it's just so annoying running into it and having my monsters wiped out. It's like, well, shit. Like, they just seem to see it more than I do. I swear to God. Marley usually suspects that I always have it whenever I play him, but not always. I don't see this card all the time. In fact, I swear I don't draw into this card as much as Express Gaming and George do. Like, they just get more lucky than I do. It's like, why can't I have their luck? Number 5, Infinite Impermanence, one of the best monster effect negations in the game. And I've actually grown to like using this card a lot myself. I'm trying it out in my Dark Magician deck, which my good friend Webbers5 advised me to do. And it's been a big help, and I do like using it. But yeah, it's just infuriating when it's used against me. Like, I've had this card used a lot to stop my plays, like, for the last 4 years, and yeah, it's just annoyed me so much. Especially when it also seals off a spell and trap column as well, which is just infuriating. There've even been a couple of times where I even forgot that it sealed up a zone, and I've accidentally played a spell or trap in the same zone, only for it to get negated. And that just pisses me off as well. Just having that happen and then forgetting that spells and traps get negated in the same column that turn. And feel like that has cost me games in the past. At least it's something that I forgot about when me and Weber's 5 did that 4 deck versus 4 deck challenge, which was annoying. Like, if I hadn't have forgotten, then it might have changed things. I don't know. We'll never know for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to say about it. Fantastic card to use myself. Just absolute bullshit when used against me. Number 4, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Yeah, I'm showing off my Ghost Rare version, because why not? Now, once upon a time, this used to be a synchro that I hate with a passion, and it was originally going to be on my list of top 10 hated synchros, but then I grew more used to it and found that monsters that negate monster effects are somewhat easier to deal with than dark bribes on legs or monsters that negate everything. I mean, I can easily negate the summon, I can get rid of it also with Dark Hole for Gekki or any Mirror Force trap, so it's fine. I don't mind using it myself, whether it's Waking the Dragon target, or whether I'm using it in my Speedroid deck, or whether I'm playing it in my Highlander Yuya deck, although I haven't summoned it in my Highlander Yuya deck yet. So it's something I will go for if I really need it, but it's still a card that I absolutely hate when it's used against me, like especially if it's summoned off the Wind Witches, therefore making it immune from destruction effects. And it's like, great, how the hell am I supposed to get rid of it? Yeah, it's just so infuriating. Like, just regardless of whatever synchro deck I'm playing against, and this comes out and just gives me a lot of aggro. Like that one time where I played against DDDs and had this Hope Harbinger and Siegfried dropped on me on one turn and I had to scoop it up. Like, I even have trouble against George's Speedroid deck most of the time because he always gets this out and causes me problems, and it gets played alongside Clearwing Fast Dragon, which causes me to struggle. It's just so infuriating. I mean, that's really all there is to say about it, really. I mean, on its own, like, I can overcome it, but if it's played alongside like other negates, it's just a nightmare to deal with, and there's just no point continuing the duel after that. Yeah, it's just absolute bullshit. Number 3, Twin Twisters, another generic back row removal spell. I like using it myself to clear up back row. I always try and play it in every single deck I have. Harpys Feather Duster isn't that easy to get, and Twin Twisters is pretty easy to get. Sure, it can only pop up to 2 spells and traps, but it's usually enough. Again, it's really infuriating when used against me, especially if I'm playing my Dark Magician deck. Like, it's bad enough that this gets used to wipe out my Mirror Force traps or my Solemn Strikes or other generic monster effect negation before I can use it. And then I get fucked over by something like ABC Dragon Buster or something, and I'm like, this wouldn't be happening if I still had my strikes. But it's even more annoying when it's used on my Dark Magician deck, just to get rid of Eternal Soul, for instance. Just I hate it when people take advantage of the weakness, and this is why I wish it didn't have the weakness where it destroys my monsters, like if it leaves the field. Like, it's just a stupid, unfair and unnecessary drawback. And ever since I started playing it, opponents have tried to take advantage of that. But mainly with Twin Twisters. Because like I said already, when talking about Harpys Feather Duster, if my back row gets wiped out, then it's practically impossible for me to be able to play, or at least make a comeback. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. And speaking of Solemn Strike, it's at number 2. Probably the Solemn card that I like the most. I like Solemn Judgment as well, but I also really like Solemn Strike. It's one of the best forms of monster effect negates in the game. It's handy for negating inherent special summons, just getting rid of something I don't want to deal with. And it's a fantastic way of getting rid of annoying monsters as well. And it only costs 1,500 life points. It's great for getting rid of monsters that negate everything. This is the only one of the few cards that they can't negate. Shame it can't destroy Dragoon though. And it's also another handy card for getting rid of Ash Blossom with as well. Yeah, it's really, really fucking annoying when it's used against me to stop my best monsters as well. Like whether I'm trying to go off, or it just gets rid of a boss monster that I worked so hard for to bring out onto the field, only to just get outright denied just like that. I mean, again, it's just like when Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, or Mythical Beast Garuda gets used against me. Like, it gets rid of it just like that, and then there's just this overwhelming loss of hope of winning the duel. You know, you just worked hard to get out your best monster, and then it's gone just like that, and there's just this annoyance that I built up to it for nothing, and then followed by the despair of just losing that monster, which of course results in losing hope of making a comeback or winning the duel. I mean, that's generally how I feel when this gets used against me. And of course, it's another card which I swear Express Gaming always draws into, and just always has when he needs it. At least when playing Noble Knights. Yeah, it's just absolute bullshit. And finally, in at number 1 is Called by the Grave. Yeah, arguably the best out to hand traps, and it's cheaper and easier to get than Triple Tactics Talents and Cross-out Designator, and it's easier to use. And like I said, I really wish this card would go back to free. Yeah, I love using it to stop Ash Blossom and Droll and Lockbird in particular, because fuck those hand traps. or just getting rid of another problem monster that I don't want to deal with, like, if need be. But yeah, of all the cards that I like using myself but hate being used against me, this is the one that I hate being used against me the most. Purely because people keep using it to banish my Dark Magician. And yeah, it pisses me off a lot, because like, it's my favourite card, an ace monster. I don't tolerate having my Dark Magician get banished. Like, whether it's through DD Crow, Gaius, Bottomless, D Prison, or in this case Caught by the Grave. Like, I swear opponents only do it just to piss me off. Dark Magician hate is just unfair and completely uncalled for. Like, how dare you take a cheap shot at my favourite card and just deny me from being able to play him? In fact, this is also why I played 2 copies of Dark Magician the Dragon Knight in my Dark Magician deck. I played 2 just in case one of them gets banished by Caught by the Grave, or if not that, then DD Crow. I mean, it is a good counter to Eternal Soul to stop me bringing one back from the grave. I will say that, but it's also fucking annoying at the same time. But luckily Eternal Soul doesn't target, so I can still special summon another Dark Magician from the grave, or one from my hand if I have one. And going back to Dragon Knight, if one gets banished, at least I have another one to go into. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Okay, so that is it for my list of love-hate cards. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and a comment, share and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and be sure to let me know if you've got any cards that you like using yourself or don't mind using yourself but absolutely hate when they're used against you. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Richician YouTube channel.